Imagine walking down a pristine hotel hallway. The floors gleam. The lighting is soft, warm, yet muted. Everything looks perfect. But behind the shine, a story unfolds. Quiet, unseen. A black female hotel maid moves steadily, carrying cleaning supplies. She looks tired, yet determined. Every step, every action is unnoticed. But someone is watching. A man in plain clothes, slightly disguised, observes from a distance. He is invisible to her. What he sees changes how we understand this place. Today we uncover what lies behind the luxury. Luxury hotels are designed to impress. Polished floors, gleaming walls, soft lighting, and air that smells faintly of perfume or cleaning solutions. Every detail is curated for guests. The experience is seamless. Everything seems effortless, but it is not. For every guest that enjoys comfort, someone works tirelessly to maintain it. Housekeepers, often women, carry out the labor behind the scenes. Their work is meticulous, physically demanding, and often overlooked. In the United States alone, there are over 1.5 million people employed as maids and housekeeping cleaners. Many of these workers are women of color. Many earn wages that barely cover basic living costs. They perform repetitive tasks for long hours. Yet their efforts remain largely invisible to the public eye. Hotels, especially luxury brands, invest heavily in aesthetics. From reflective floors to high-end lighting fixtures, everything is designed to dazzle the guest. But these investments often overshadow the human labor that sustains them. Consider the hallway. Every surface gleams because of countless hours of scrubbing. Every soft light accentuates the perfection, masking the fatigue behind it. Housekeepers move through these spaces almost like ghosts, essential yet unseen. Now focus on one individual, a black female hotel maid. She wears a neatly pressed housekeeping uniform. It is functional with no flair. She moves steadily, carrying cleaning supplies, a spray bottle, cloths, and a cart filled with fresh towels. Her expression is calm, yet tired. Eyes focused, movements deliberate. Each room she cleans, each corridor she wipes, represents labor that is both physical and invisible. A man in plain clothes watches from the distance, slightly disguised, his presence unnoticed. He is a guest, or perhaps someone testing the system. His gaze follows her, quiet, observant. From his perspective, the contrast is stark. The polished hallway, the soft lighting, the warm but muted tones, these are the symbols of luxury. Yet, in the foreground, the maid carries the unseen burden. Every polished floor reflects her effort. Every gleam on the walls tells a story she is not credited for. This scene captures more than a moment in a hotel corridor. It captures a truth. A luxury environment cannot exist without labor. It highlights the disconnection between those who enjoy comfort and those who create it. What is remarkable is her perseverance. Despite fatigue, she continues her work with focus and dignity. There is a rhythm to her movements. She cleans, replaces, organizes, and moves on. No complaint, no recognition, just steady action. Observers often miss the subtle signs, the slight slump in her shoulders, the careful balancing of supplies, the meticulous attention to detail. These are markers of expertise, years of experience condensed into motion. Every crease, every fold, every polished surface is testimony to skill and resilience. Meanwhile, the man in plain clothes represents the audience, or society at large. He sees what most guests never do. He sees the labor, the effort, the human story behind luxury, yet he is separated from it. His comfort depends on her work, yet he remains removed, almost invisible himself. This quiet observation creates a dual perspective, one of labor, one of privilege. It forces us to confront a reality often ignored. The luxury industry thrives on labor that remains unacknowledged, and in this hallway, that reality becomes visible. Why focus on this hallway scene? Why study one maid's routine? Because it illuminates a larger truth. Every polished corridor, every gleaming lobby, every luxury suite relies on human labor. Often underpaid, often invisible, often undervalued. Labor in hospitality is gendered and racialized. Women of color disproportionately occupy frontline service roles. Many face wage gaps, limited advancement opportunities, and long hours. Yet, their work is foundational to the guest experience. By examining this scene, we confront systemic realities. It forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. Who benefits from luxury? Who is hidden behind the shine? How does society assign value to visible versus invisible work? This is not a story of blame. It is a story of observation, an invitation to recognize labor, to acknowledge it. To understand it, consider the contrast. The man in plain clothes represents wealth, choice, and anonymity. The maid represents effort, visibility, and necessity. Together, they form a visual metaphor. Luxury is not an abstract concept. It is built on labor, dedication, and human resilience. The lighting, the polished floors, the muted warmth of the hallway, these are not just design choices. They are storytelling tools. They create a stage for labor and privilege to coexist. The subtle angles, the soft focus, the gleam of light on surfaces, these draw attention to the effort, the skill, the perseverance. This matters because it challenges assumptions. Luxury is often romanticized as effortless. But this scene reminds us that behind every comfortable experience there is labor, unseen, uncredited, yet essential. It matters because it humanizes labor. Statistics and reports reduce workers to numbers. Here in this hallway, we see a person, a story, determination, fatigue, skill, dignity. It matters because it encourages reflection. How do we, as consumers or observers, interact with these systems? Do we notice, or do we remain like the man in plain clothes, watching quietly, removed, detached? Recognition of labor is not charity. It is justice. It is acknowledgement of the human effort that sustains comfort and luxury. And sometimes, that recognition begins with simply seeing. In this hallway, a story unfolds silently. A maid moves with purpose, carrying the weight of unseen labor. A man observes, unnoticed, absorbing a reality most guests never confront. The gleaming floors, polished walls, and warm light create an illusion of ease. But the truth lies in the effort, in the hands and bodies of those who sustain it. Luxury is more than objects. It is labor. It is skill. It is human perseverance. And often, it is invisible. This scene does not dramatize or sensationalize. It simply asks us to look, to observe, and to reflect. To consider the people behind the comfort. To recognize the effort in the background. To understand that every polished surface carries a story. Next time you walk through a hotel, notice the hallways. Notice the staff. Notice the labor that keeps the lights soft, the floors reflective, and the rooms pristine. Recognize their work. Understand its value. Respect it. Because the story of luxury is incomplete without acknowledging the unseen hands that make it possible. And in this quiet, reflective hallway, that story comes into focus.